Hey everyone, Daniel here and welcome back to another video. I hope all of you are having a great day out there. As always, here today we need to talk about Cardano ADA, but more specifically dive in deep into a very interesting and important catalyst to watch for Cardano over the next couple of months here that not only has the potential to really revolutionize the way Cardano operates, but also has the potential to really shake up the cryptocurrency industry and the global financial industry as a whole. So if you own Cardano or are interested in Cardano, this is definitely a very important video to watch, as this is fundamentally changing for Cardano. It has a significant long-term impact on the cryptocurrency. So if you end up enjoying this video and finding some value in it, please consider subscribing. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So first and foremost, Cardano ADA. This is obviously one of the most interesting and largest cryptocurrencies out there by market cap. But Cardano ADA, if you don't understand it on a very high level, I do recommend you go ahead and watch my video, my analysis video on Cardano. I go in depth into exactly what it is and the potential that I see with it longer term. I'll leave that linked in the description down below. But at its core, Cardano is trying to do everything that Ethereum is doing, but better and on a higher level, whether that be transaction speeds or efficiency or cost structure. It's trying to do everything that Ethereum does, but on a higher level. And one of the things that it's trying to tackle here, at least over the next couple of months, is smart contracts. And it's doing that through a project called Alonzo. And Alonzo is the phase that Cardano currently is in the development of its cryptocurrency, Cardano ADA, obviously. And it's focused in on smart contracts, at least at this moment in time, and it's really in the back half of its development stage, in the sense that we're really finishing up the completion of Cardano's smart contract network. And if you're interested in Cardano at all, you know that this is a big catalyst for Cardano and will allow it to compete with Ethereum on a very high level. Now, talking about this plan and the completion of Cardano's smart contract network, it's currently a 90-day plan that finishes at the end of August. This was announced at the end of May, beginning of June, and is a 90-day plan. Again, finishing at the end of August. We're currently around 30 days in at this moment in time, around a third in. So we have another couple of months to go before Cardano's smart contract network is released out into the wild. Now, talking about this 90-day plan, it's divided up into three phases: the blue phase, the white phase, and the purple phase. And each of these phases, as kind of Cardano progresses through them, each phase will include more users and add additional functionality to Cardano's smart contract network and new features alongside that. So again, as we kind of progress throughout the remainder of the summer here, Cardano's smart contract network will slowly be released to more users and obviously more potential use cases alongside that. But it really is at the end of August that we expect the full Cardano smart contract network, that we expect Alonzo to be completed. Now, at the end of August, once smart contract capabilities are released within the Cardano network, that will mark the end of the Go-Gwin era. And everything Cardano does falls in line with 5 different eras or points in time where Cardano focuses in on different things. In this situation, the Go-Gwin era is the smart contract era, where Cardano went pedal to the metal on smart contracts, really getting them released. And at the end of August, once people can really start using them and the functionality is there, that will mark the end of that era, and we can move on to the next one. Now, just for a bit of context here, the first era was Byron. This is the foundation of Cardano, really getting it started. Then there's Shelley. This is decentralization, making Cardano decentralized, a decentralized currency. Then you have Go-Gwin. This is the one that we're currently in, the smart contract era, where they're focusing in on getting their smart contracts implemented and out in the wild. So at the end of August, we can expect the Go-Gwin era to finish, right? And that's when smart contracts are available for people to use. And again, we're going to take a look at what smart contracts are and the potential that they have in a moment here. But once this era is complete, we're going to move to Basho, or Basho, whatever you want to pronounce it. But this era focuses in on scaling. And if you know Cardano, one of its big differentiating factors is scale, the fact that they can scale up to 1 million transactions per second. Now, one of the biggest problems with Ethereum at this moment in time is the fact that they can only support the low double-digit range when it comes to transactions per second, which is why you're seeing very high gas fees on their network and very high costs of transferring Ethereum-based cryptocurrencies on the Ethereum blockchain. And Cardano does solve that by being able to scale up to 1 million transactions per second. In this stage here, this era, the Basho, whatever you want to pronounce it, this era will allow Cardano to focus focus in on scaling and scaling their system for people to be able to use their smart contracts and be able to use Cardano as potentially a form of currency. Now, talking about this phase, it technically has already begun. We do have blueprints when it comes to this era, but it really will begin once the Goguen era is complete. As right now, Cardano is focusing in on smart contracts. Sure, they have ideas when it comes to scaling an Ouroboros Hydra, but this stage will begin at the end of August once the smart contracts at Cardano are released, and this is a big catalyst to watch. And again, when we talk about late 2021, 2022, that will be the era of scaling for Cardano. We have a lot of major catalysts to watch. Now, after this, after the scaling phase, we have a Voltaire, and this is the governance stage, and this is the last stage of the Cardano network, and it's essentially the last one that allows Cardano to be its own thing and really make it a decentralized platform that really sets up a voting system where holders of Cardano can vote on different features or new potential implementations into the Cardano network that benefit the system as a whole and allow it to compete with some of the biggest cryptocurrencies out there. So those are the 5 stages. As of right now, we are in the Goguen stage, the smart contract stage. This will be finishing up within the next couple of months. A very big catalyst to watch, which is why you're seeing a lot of articles, especially on the Motley Fool. I think there's one, get ready for the summer when it comes to Cardano, because smart contracts, it's only just starting. And, throughout the summer, we can expect smart contracts to continue scaling at Cardano and really begin getting implemented throughout the back half of 2021. Very exciting stuff. But when it comes to smart contracts, I feel like one of the biggest questions that people do have is, what are smart contracts and what use cases do they provide in real world scenarios? Now, talking about smart contracts, one of the easiest ways to describe smart contracts, Vitalik, he is the founder of or co-founder of Ethereum, and obviously heavily involved within the cryptocurrency space. I'm using this quote because he's obviously one of the biggest names when it comes to cryptocurrencies as a whole, and he explains it very well. A smart contract is a mechanism involving digital assets in 2 or more parties where some or all parties put assets in, and assets are automatically redistributed among those parties according to a formula based on certain data that is not known at the time the contract is initiated. So talking about smart contracts at its core, it's really just an if statement if you're into coding. If this happens, do this. And one of the biggest questions is, how do you implement this into real world scenarios, which we're going to take a look at in a moment here. But having smart contracts has a lot of benefits at its core before we take a look at the real world scenarios. First and foremost, traditional contracts generally take a few days, while smart contracts much quicker, obviously on the blockchain. You have manual remittance on the traditional contracts and automatic remittance on the smart contracts. Escrow on traditional contracts. Escrow may not be necessary with smart contracts, obviously, because you're going straight from one person to another when it comes to smart contracts. Traditional, very expensive. Obviously, you have to do it all manually, which does cost a lot of money. When it comes to smart contracts, a fraction of the cost. Traditional contracts require a physical presence, a wet signature, while smart contracts require a digital signature or a virtual presence. And lastly, traditional contracts require lawyers, while with smart contracts, they're not as necessary. So you see a lot of benefits when it comes to smart contracts, but how can they be implemented into real world scenarios? And that's one of the biggest questions to ask. And I just have a few examples here. First and foremost, keeping records. One of the things that the blockchain and smart contracts do very well is keeping records and storing data, but also keeping it very safe. And talking about who might benefit from this, the perfect example is the healthcare industry, which holds data of hundreds of millions of patients within the United States alone. And talking about the healthcare industry and potentially specific examples with smart contracts, you have potentially using smart contracts to issue prescriptions or storing receipts or general stock management or storing test results or other things along those lines. So you have a lot of different use cases of smart contracts there within the healthcare industry alone. And this keeps going here with property ownership, being able to buy or sell real estate with cryptocurrencies and with the blockchain using smart contracts, being able to easily buy real estate without having to go through a lengthy process that lasts months very quickly with smart contracts, and very cost effective as well. You can use them during mortgages or for your insurance, reducing a lot of the fees within that space, or even for voting, as smart contracts do a great job of identifying the individual, the blockchain as well, peer-to-peer transactions, again, keeping it transparent, safe, and very cost effective. So those are some of the use cases. Again, feel free to dive in deeper into the smart contract industry. There's so much potential there. And again, Cardano at the forefront of this. And as of the end of August, potentially, they're really going to be almost a number 2 player in the smart contract industry, right behind Ethereum. Now, what is the bottom line? What can we expect for Cardano moving forwards here, and how big is the opportunity when it comes to smart contracts? First and foremost, the summer is going to be big. As we know, Cardano is slowly releasing these smart contracts through a few phases. So over the coming weeks and over the coming months, we can expect smart contracts to emerge and cryptocurrencies to begin getting built on this Cardano networks. So obviously keep an eye on what's happening with Cardano throughout the summer. You also have a big test against Ethereum coming when it comes to usage. Obviously Ethereum is pretty much the main player when it comes to smart contracts, non-fungible tokens, NFTs. They're pretty much based off of the Ethereum blockchain. Almost all of them use the Ethereum blockchain. So having the Cardano network out there, you're really gonna have a lot more competition for Ethereum, and another great option outside of Ethereum to go to that potentially has lower fees and higher transaction speed. Now on top of this, get ready for the scaling phase coming potentially in September, where we're going to slowly start to launch Ouroboros Hydra. We talked about this in my last video, being able to potentially scale up to 1 million transactions per second. That is the next phase for Cardano after smart contracts. Obviously a lot of very interesting stuff here happening with Cardano. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are on smart contracts, how that might impact Cardano, and how Cardano may impact the cryptocurrency industry as a whole over the coming months and over the coming years. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. If you found some value in this video at all, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.